In a world of flight and adventure, where trains meet at crossroads of destinies, she was the conductor, but her real role was hidden behind the game. The conductor wife wiggled her ass in front of every passenger, while I remained an unsuspecting husband. In this story of amazing cheating and destiny dramas, I will reveal the truth that shook my life to its very core. Hi everyone, would love to hear your opinions and your advice. Anyway, here's my horny story for your consideration. I am 33 and my wife is 28. My wife and I have been together for almost 7 years, of which we have been formally married for 4 years. We have a daughter. She is 3.5 years old. After 2 years of dating and living together, my wife had a nervous breakdown, as she says, due to lack of attention, love, and affection. She went to her mother's house and then to a rented apartment. I in turn tried to ask for forgiveness and get her back for months, long months. During that time, I learned that she had cheated on me when she was in session in the 2nd year of our acquaintance. She was cheating with a married man. He was 13 years older than her. And after a nervous breakdown, she slept with some other freak. My relatives knew about it. She told them herself. When we met, I told them what they thought, but in my heart, I didn't want to believe it. In general, I had a fight with her for good. She moved into a rented house at her brother's and started living there with her former lover. At first, I killed myself for a long time, asked her to come back, but over time, I put up with it. I didn't call or write her myself, of course, but the bitch started contacting me on her own. And I confess, at some point I melted. It was the biggest mistake of my life. After that, we started dating again and later living together. She told him everything under my pressure. Soon we got married. Our daughter was born. I love the child very much. A year and a half later, my wife took a job as a conductor. Rumors began to circulate that on the trips she twists her butt in front of all sorts of men. Even her boss began to make remarks to her. Me? You ask what I? Again, the fool did not pay attention to this. I want to say right away that my wife did not have a very good reputation, and my friend knew about it. She told me that she had been sexually active since she was 14. She gave birth when she was 17, and he was 10 years older than she was. They didn't live long. The baby, unfortunately, was not born at 3.5 months. The story is absolutely unclear, but from her words, the baby suffocated under her breast after a feeding. Of course, after that she went on a rampage, but gradually the pain of loss subsided. I tried not to bring it up again. We took out a mortgage, bought an apartment, and rented it out for 2 years. In the meantime, we were living with my parents. And now a few words about our life. We fought and made up. We broke up and came back together. We didn't sleep together for weeks. My wife, by the way, as a hostess, not so much. I always cleaned the apartment myself. I used to fight with her because of that too. I used to say that you demanded attention to yourself, but you did not want to hear me. When there were fights, she would take the child and leave the house. Sometimes she would go to my mother's or my brother's house for a few days. My father, seeing her lifestyle, told her everything and asked her to leave the apartment. We paid the mortgage, I took out a loan for the repairs, and we moved. We started to live together. Lately, I began to notice the coldness from her side. Relationships began to heat up. She began to hang out on the phone, on social networks. Several times she came home late at night, and once even in the morning. I didn't say anything. And then, one night, I picked up her phone while she was sleeping. I was freaking out. She's texting and calling back some schmuck from some village. Honey, kitty, you're my destiny, and all that stuff. I woke her up. Said she made no secret that she had long wanted a divorce, and that she would not live for the baby. Tired of no attention and no affection. And then I also found out from my relatives that she had recently had a lover, whom she met in kindergarten, which introduces our child and his child, and in the same group. And finally, in conversation, she spilled another one of the lesser ones when we were briefly separated. In short, I called her the last words. I will not tell you verbatim. When asked why, what do I deserve, she said that she did not feel happy around me. I filed for divorce. I moved in with my parents. For 2 months, I lived like water. My head felt like it was in a fog. I walked around like a zombie. I didn't eat. I'd only smoked, tried drinking, but it got worse. I wanted to finish her off and not live myself. I tried to talk sense into her, to start all over again for the sake of the baby. At the thought of having a stranger next to my beloved daughter, I just couldn't breathe. There was a trial. I asked for a period of time to reconcile. It was the little girl who said she was in a new relationship. The judge shamed her, but gave us 3 months to reconcile. I'm starting to realize that I can't live with her anymore. Yeah, and she's going to live with this lineage. She puts her daughter on the phone so he can say goodnight to her, the bastard. I was left without an apartment, with debts, with undermined health, and my hopes and dreams crumbled overnight. It is very painful from the despicable betrayal of a loved one. Faith in people is lost. What to do with it? I do not know. I am afraid of losing my daughter, but I will have to see and hear this vile creature because of my daughter. Do you draw conclusions from my example? Is it worth forgiving adultery? Even just one. I forgave once. Can you tell me what to do? I would appreciate your experience and your advice. Thank you, dear listeners, friends. And now on to the second story. When I caught my wife cheating on me, my life was turned upside down. But what surprised me the most was that I enjoyed it. In this video, I'll tell the amazing story of my wife's infidelity, which was a source of drama and turned my fate upside down. And we begin the story. Good afternoon, everyone. I am now 37 years old. I don't know why I'm writing. I'm just sick of everything, apparently. I seem to like it when my girlfriends aren't with me. Sounds idiotic, but still. I started dating my current wife when she had just broken up with the father of her child. Girls were not spoiled with attention. I knew few people before my wife, and then suddenly it all worked out. And you know, I was in seventh heaven. She is beautiful, relaxed in bed, and loves me. And I loved her. Or I loved her. Anyway, we've been living for 10 years, raising a child. Wasn't worried that it wasn't mine. He and I see each other as sort of son and father. And then, one day, I find out that she has a man. I find out by chance, from the category of coming home from a business trip. The details are not important, believe me. Anyway, it blows my mind. I'm screaming and crying at the same time. The guy tried to say something, but somehow very quickly fled. I think she was scared. And of me. And of me. I don't know. Anyway, for some reason we got into a frank conversation. It turns out that this is what, I tell you, the partner is the second. All old acquaintances, unknown to me. As I see it, it's about the wrong attitude towards intimacy. From my point of view, wrong. Again, too easy. Let's just say. With both of them was before me still. It keeps her from saying no. At least the way she described it. She loves me. She wants to be with me. Not the point. The point is that I want her too. I love her too, and I want to be with her too. And I surf the internet. I watch adult movies, and with showing up, usually the husband shares the wife. But I never thought I'd be like this myself. Here we're talking to her. I'm really shaking physically from what happened. From the humiliation, from the emotion. And you know, at the same time, I want to kill her and possess her in the most brutal way. So two diametrically opposed emotions. Yeah, seems like a fake. I get it. But it's not fake. And I want it, and I can't agree with that inside. Because the man is grown up and proud. And all that stuff. How's that? Anyway, I left. I didn't know what to do, so I left. Live at my parents' place. They're going away to the country house with the heat, and the apartment in town is left empty. So I borrowed it. She calls. We talk. Well, yesterday she came over. She left her son with her mother-in-law. I let her in. Didn't want to kick her out. We had a half-assed conversation. She tried to get through to me. She said she loved me and said it was a mistake. She even offered to do you know what? She suggested that she should change so she wouldn't feel hurt. Even. You know, she wants to keep the family together. And then, as you might have guessed, we had sex. Pissed me off to the point of wanting to hit her. I grabbed her by the neck and I told her to shut up. I don't usually act like that. Wedge. The curtain fell down. I know it wasn't pretty, but it was. And then, well, you can't beat a woman. And how do you beat her if you don't beat her? And you guessed it. There's a bomb in bed. It feels even better than before. Or maybe it's because I punished her somehow. And this morning, I woke up feeling like that was it. The conflict is over. And it pisses me the fuck off too. How is it over? Dude, I feel bad and I don't feel better at all. That pisses me off. That's not what's bugging me. I started going through my previous stories, and this. I realized that in one way or another there was something similar in each. I went out with a girl in high school in my last year of high school. I worked part-time at the disco. She was always trying to get guys into the disco, taking advantage of the fact that I worked there. And the guys were adults. Students. And the girl was so hot. I didn't like it, but I never fought with her about it. I remember it a lot. In bed. With his, as it seemed to me, my future wife at the Institute, a similar story. I shuddered, then listened with Kim. She was before me. She was out with a cadet from the local military, studying out of my town, and was afraid when I came over that we were going out, and all of a sudden the cadet tried to hide me, and I once thought so. Here I came to her dorm. We're in bed with her, and then the cadets came. She put me in the closet. Not her. I mean, I imagined sitting in the closet at that time. Yeah, that's a purely heartfelt confession. And then I come out afterwards. And believe me, there's a lot of moments like that in my head. We ended up going our separate ways. After talking, normal, no cheating. She had already found a boyfriend 3 days later. And after another 2 weeks, I started chasing her again. And we became lovers without commitment. The problem didn't last that long, but it was. And so, if any story I was interested in taking, every time there's some subtext like that. Or it seems to me already after what happened. I don't know. They say you have to accept yourself the way you are. And I don't want to. No. I mean, if people are on the subject of sexuafe, you can't win lead. And I'm disgusted. It just doesn't feel right. The bottom line is there's a family and there's no family. And if intimacy, that part in some situation is satisfying, then nothing else is. Intimacy is enjoyable exactly as long as it goes, and then it's empty. I rather love my wife. I don't want to leave her. And where is the guarantee that I will leave, and then do not find the same? From past experience, and it won't be long before I find one. In general, the situation drives me crazy. It's like some kind of alien movie, as if someone inside you, but not you. It's like I like it, I don't like it, I like it, I don't like it. Man, bipolar disorder is on the march. What to do, tell me. I'd appreciate your advice. Dear listeners, my friends, I thank you for watching this video. For the fact that you subscribe to our channel, give your likes or even dislikes. Take part in the discussions below the video in any way you can. This helps the channel grow and attract new audiences. Really, thank you for that. It's a credit to you. I won't say goodbye and see you soon. Stay healthy